Good evening, manifestors. This is Lynn Mayu from Attraction Manifestors, and I want to share a fun little manifestation story that I had today. So, I am obsessed with Bridgerton, and what I love about it is the aesthetics. It's a very diverse cast and very beautiful and like well thought out costume design, and I absolutely love it. One of the things that I love the most is that every time there's like a ball or a social event, like each family like shows up like color coordinated with each other. So like you'll see like often like the Bridgertons are always in like some shades of blue. Featheringtons are wearing like obnoxious prints in like bright garish colors. Um, like you just see like all the people who are associated with each other, they're always showing up like in this cohesive color scheme. And I wish that my family and friends would do that. Like if I asked them to show up, if I asked like people I know to show up at a gathering like dressed color coordinated, they will never do it ever. However, we did Mother's Day today, and I had just been like watching an episode of Bridgerton, and I was just like, wow, like it's just so cool how they just all always show up color coordinated. And I was reading like all these articles about their costume design. I show up to my mom's house, and I see my mom's wearing like this light blue. One of the sisters is wearing light blue with like a purple shirt underneath it. Another sister's wearing light lavender. I've got the like magenta, and then my brother is wearing shorts that have like all those colors. Like, so I was like, wow, like this is so cool. Just manifested it just from looking at it, and I was really like having this like hyper focus on these fashion and the color coordination and all those things. So there is spiritual science behind this. In the Bible, Psalm 101 verse 3, it says, I will set no vile thing before my eyes. And they knew, like, you don't want to put something in front of your eyes that you don't want to have in your life. That psalm goes on to talk about, he says, I'll set no vile thing before my eyes. I will refuse to associate with people who do evil. I will not like be around. It's like you're not going to be around people who are doing things that are not good. Later it says, no one who practices deceit will be permitted to remain in my house. No one who utters lies will be numbered among my companions. Don't be around the things you don't want. Put yourself away from them. If things are going on in your house that you don't want, like spend less time around them. If things are going on around in your workplace that you don't want, like separate yourself from those things. Like set no vile thing before your eyes. There's also in Genesis 30, there's a story about, so Jacob was working for one of his relatives named Laban. The relative was not a good employer. So the way that went was like, he was like, okay, I'll work for you for 7 years in exchange for your younger daughter. But like he worked for him for 7 years, and then he gave him the other daughter. And it's like this kind of like deceitfulness was happening like for about 20 years that he was working for him. So what Jacob did was he took from the flocks of the sheep, like all of the brown sheep and all of the speckled and spotted goats. And he said, okay, like these are like from now on, like all of the speckled and spotted goats and the brown sheep are going to be mine. And that was like a much smaller number of the sheep. But what he did after that was when the sheep and the goats would go to mate, he basically made these like striped rods of tree bark and put them in front of the water, like where the sheep were drinking before, like during the mating season. So he made the animals look at the speckles and the spots and the stripes, and then they started giving birth to like spotted babies. So he greatly increased the size of his flock that way. This is how we are made. This is how the human mind is programmed. So the things that you put in front of your eyes, it's almost like it works on your mind on its own and just creates itself. Like I could not have like told my family to show up all wearing color coordinated clothes at the gala. I was like ecstatic when I saw them do that. I was like, this is so cool. I could never have done it. Like people don't listen to me like that. But I had that was what I had been putting in front of my eyes. That was what was on my mind. I can't prove that that's why they all did that, but I thought it was cool as heck. So how do you put this into practice? Think about so we are either, like each person is going to be primarily either visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, or there's auditory digital, which is words. So it's like, what are you the most sensitive to? For me, it's visual. Like if I see like horror movies or like really disturbing things in front of my eyes, like I can't forget the images. And so I tend to watch like G-rated movies. I watch like costume dramas. Like I only want to watch like pretty movies. Like I'm not into any dystopian like visual entertainment, because those images will never leave me. Like you have to you really have to convince me to get me to watch that kind of stuff. So it could be auditory. It might be like the music that you listen to, that you're really sensitive to hearing certain lyrics or certain music. It could be like reading the books, like the words on the page. It could be a kinesthetic thing, like you might not like the way certain things feel on your body. But whatever it is that you're the most sensitive to is probably the one that you want to focus on when you're creating, like whether you're going to create, like for example, a vision board that you're going to put in front of your eyes so you see it every day. You might be, if you're more auditorily sensitive, you might want to create like a manifestation playlist where you're listening to music that puts your mind into the vibration that you want for manifesting. If you're more of a auditory digital, like one who learns by reading, or one who's more sensitive to like the written word, then you probably want to use like written affirmations, which if you read them out loud to yourself is the best way. But like written affirmations could be good for if you're that type of wiring. Or if you're more of a kinesthetic wiring, then you want to take physical actions toward your manifestation. You might want to like do feng shui, like clean your house, make your space really feel supportive to your intentions. So that is what I have. So like we want to set no vile thing before our eyes. You want to set before your eyes, make your environment support your manifestations in the way in which it speaks to your mind the most. So I'm going to be experimenting with this. And another thing that I'm going to be doing, this is not a political video, but I will be doing it probably here and also in person to do some manifestation rituals around this, around the country where I live, and the vision that I desire for it to be, to like de-manifest authoritarian governments, and de-manifest the lack of freedom, and really create a place, an environment where freedom can thrive. So I will update you guys more on that and how it's going to go as time goes by. But I wanted to share this with you right now because this is actually relevant to the political side as well. We can get sucked into the news cycle and put like one horrible thing after another is being put in front of our eyes. And it is very, this is a time where it's like you can't really, you may not want to be uninformed, but it is also important to take some time and step back and put things in front of your face that are what you desire. Here's the thing, nobody's going to do that for you. The media, almost any media, they're not set up to be on our side. everything is set up in such a way that money is made by basically directing your attention. Your attention is the most valuable commodity. Money's made by directing your attention to things where you can be manipulated into purchasing. Attention is being manipulated into ways where you will be basically manipulated into serving someone else's needs instead of your own. So take the time to consciously put in front of your own face, in front of your own eyes, things that support your own goals. That's where I'm going with that. It is, if you are needing to stay informed, take some time also, like you read a shitty headline, maybe write down a better headline of like, this is how I want it to be in the future. If you see like a horrible news story, maybe take a few minutes to come up with in your creative mind a positive resolution and write that down as an affirmation. Like, this will be resolved in a positive way. If you notice on any of my videos, if my cards come out in a negative ending, like the last one that I did, I don't allow it to stay there. Because we always have choice. We always have free will. Nothing is written in stone. We are not doomed. Nobody is like fated to live a life of disaster. Like, every moment is an opportunity to make a new choice, individually and collectively. So remember the power that you do have, and not just politically, anywhere in your life. Anything happens that you don't want, take some time to think about, write down, speak out loud what it is that you do want. Just turn your mind to the better thing. That is my tip for you today. Hope you guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever time it is, and happy manifesting.